Hello and welcome to the 23rd episode of the Bunker to Bunker podcast. We are recording this December 27th, wrapping up for 2023, getting excited for the calendar year 2024 and especially the golf season starting up soon. I guess yeah, let's dive right into it, Josh. What do you have to say to the people?
Yeah, it's almost 2024. I feel like the golf news has been pretty quiet. I feel like
Yeah.
everyone's maybe inching towards December 31st for a deadline with the deal. I mean, we haven't really heard anything, so I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but I'm not really too worried about it. I think we should just jump right into part two of our majors preview. Last episode we talked about the Masters and the U.S. Open, or no, the PGA. Um, So this one we will talk about the U.S. Open, the Open Championship, and then we'll give some bold predictions for, a pretty exciting year with storylines. And who knows what the uncertainty of golf. So, I feel like we could look pretty foolish with our bold predictions or look pretty good. So those are pretty widely variety. So I think we should jump into the U.S. Open. I'll start. I'll give this a little preview, and then we'll go into our predictions and other storylines. But the U.S. Open this year is at Pinehurst, number 2 in North Carolina. I think it's one of the more historic golf courses. I guess it's a place where a lot of people go to play golf and book their trip. This is famously where from Foreplay, Mr. Riggs was there during COVID, and then he cried after he left. So shout out to Riggs there. But we saw this course for the 2014 U.S. Open, which was not really that eventful, as Martin Keimer kind of blew everyone out, shooting 9 under in 4 rounds, and tied for second was Ricky Fowler and Eric Compton, a name I haven't heard of in forever, at -1. And then other big names like Koepka, Day, Keegan, DJ, all were kind of tied for fourth, but not really in it. Um, Actually, I remember listening to Koepka somewhere, and he actually said that I think this is where he figured out how to play like a major championship, for what that is worth. So this course is very hard. Greens are going to be very fast. There really isn't much rough on the property, so there's a lot of trees, uh, bushes, wasteland. You want to hit it straight. You want to hit your irons well. Kind of a major championship as kind of build of a golfer. So I think this is. I'm not sure how it will play. I don't think there's many course changes. I assume that they probably made it longer since 2014. It's 10 years since they've had it here. So I guess time will tell more as we get closer to the tournament in June. So that's kind of the little preview of Pinehurst. I think it's kind of neat because it's a course that anyone can play. I haven't personally played it. I don't know about you, but it's definitely somewhere on a
No.
bucket list. So that's kind of the breakdown. Any other thoughts? Have you said you haven't experienced it, but I'm sure you've seen a lot of content creators there
hmm
too.
Yeah, one day I'll be there. Pinehurst has 8 courses, number two being the most famous, number four being the second most famous. They have the Cradle, which is a 9-hole course. It's like the golfer's dream for a vacation. Very expensive, so don't know when it's in the cards, but at some point I will be there. Yeah, not really any crazy thoughts. Um, it's always a fun tournament because of the presence of sand everywhere.
Yeah,
There's not much rough, but there's a lot of runoffs that just instead of rough, imagine a golf course that is replaced by mostly sand instead, replacing the rough, and it's just always fun to see these balls rolling into the sand or behind these little weeds or whatever you want to call them in the sand. So definitely a unique thing that is only specific, not necessarily to Pinehurst, but to golfs in this two golf courses in the South. Um, yeah, I guess that's really the only
I have a question for
thing
you
that I had. Yeah,
personally.
go for it.
So what I've read and heard is that it's going to be very similar to LACC, where it's like a corporate open, a lot of corporate hospitality tents. I know we talked about this before, but like maybe a little recap into your experience at LACC, being that there weren't many fans or fans like us there, maybe,
Uh-huh.
drunk fans there, betting on like a top 40. It was more corporate, suits
hmm
there spending their, their money and taking clients. So what I've heard is that they're kind of gonna do that same like model. And people have to also understand before you go into that is that it's like the biggest tournament for the USGA. So like this is their moneymaker. I don't know what percentage
hmm
of how much they make here, but like they have to make as much money as they can. So that's kind of the whole tilt of it. So what was kind of your experience um, to recap again at the LACC Corporate Open?
Well, yeah, so it was definitely dominated by hospitality, but it was more so there just weren't that many fans on the ground. I mean, it wasn't, yes, obviously that's going to be skewed because, well, what's your definition of many? 10 deep on the
Yeah,
final green, that's still a lot, but then in retrospect, if you were at another championship, I don't know a specific one off the top of my head, but you could be talking about
right.
50 deep. So it was more so the land didn't have much, uh, what's the word? Ability to kind of have, more grandstands or more just places to house, not to house, but
Right.
to seat, fans
Yeah.
outside of the corporate realm. So that's kind of why it felt dominated. And I do agree with what you're saying about like this is their championship to make, all this money. But then again, this is not an organization that is losing money, right? The USGA has 23 national championships,
Yeah.
monopoly of United States golf. This is not an organization that necessarily needs, obviously they need it to run, but they don't, they're not scraping pennies just because, they need to make so much from this championship. So I just don't love how we're going towards this avenue or whatever of a corporate open because that just starts to take away from what always your demographic will be is fans who can't afford hospitality or don't want to pay because it's not worth the money and can't afford it is you want to go out and shell a couple thousand a day to go get yourself a free beer, like that's literally what you get when you buy these corporate deals. So it's kind of going away from where golf is supposed to be, where it's supposed to be you're able to walk the course, you're able to, you know, I don't know. I remember I don't know. It's just going away from
Well, wasn't it
the
hard to navigate the course at
it
LACC?
was
Like there was like
it
it was
was
just like
and
ropes
they
off everywhere.
yeah so they I don't remember the exact number, but they only sold I believe 5,000 general admission tickets to the public every day. And there was a portion of that that was bought up by the LACC members. So you're looking at, less public people who are getting access to the golf course. So
Yeah.
obviously with Pinehurst being a public property, people can play on whatever they want. It's not going to be as much of a, like a driving factor or a storyline. But yeah, I mean, it was roped off and it was just, it's also Los Angeles. So, every
Yeah.
square meter, every square foot is $10,000. So it makes sense why it was so crammed. But yeah, there just wasn't as much fanfare. There wasn't as much, I don't know, you think of like an Earn Hills or you think of Winged Foot's a bad example because of COVID, but or Pebble Beach or something like that. You think of these events where fans flock there, and that's like their dream
Yeah.
bucket list thing. And you'd say, "Oh, Pinehurst is on here," but then you realize, all right, let's start with square one. Pinehurst is in the middle of nowhere. Okay, so that's gonna be expensive to go stay there. Then tickets, they want 400 or 500 a day for a day pass. That's not happening. So it's just like slowly and slowly the amount of people who want to go to this dwindles and dwindles. And going to golf tournaments is getting so expensive that I'm kind of at the point where I'll just sit back and watch it. Like I don't really have that much interest to be traveling to these just because of how expensive it is. So, yeah.
Yeah. Um, I mean, for personally for us, we have what's the next? What the PGA at Aronimink in 2026? Is that coming up?
2024 Women's Open is in Lancaster. The 2026 PGA is at Aronimink. The 2026 U.S. Amateurs at Marion. And the 2025 U.S. Open is at Oakmont, I believe, or
Yeah,
2027.
and then
Either one of
2030
those.
is at Marion.
So it's
The
busy. It's busy. Don't get me wrong. It's busy.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks for us because like we only get like we're not like Cromwell, Connecticut, where you get like the Travelers every year. We're not like John Deere,
Yeah.
where you get or we're not Iowa, you get like the John Deere or any of these other tournaments. So for us, it's like, well, I mean, at least for you, like you traveled out to Pebble, um, the Ryder Cup. I mean, I went to like the Tour Championship. Um,
Mhm.
that was easy. I had like a friend that was there too, so I kind of killed two birds with one stone there. Lastly, on the U.S. Opens, what was like your fondest like memory? You've been to a couple now, or maybe even more than that. Like, do you have like a
Mm.
distinct like memory from maybe back in like 2013 at Marion with Justin Rose? I assume that I wasn't there, but I assume that you were probably there.
Yeah.
2019 Pebble with Gary Woodland and Koepka, and any fond like memory that just comes to mind.
I have a fun golf memory. I've never told this story before, and I'll tell that in a second. But U.S. Open memory, that's tough. I was at the 2013 in Marion, and I guess my fondest memory from that was when, after Phil eagled on, I totally am blanking on what hole, and there was the talk of this might go to a playoff. Me, 13-year-old me, trying to beg my dad, I don't have to go to school tomorrow. I'm not going to go to school. We're going to come here. We're going to come here. And then obviously that didn't happen. So that'd probably be the fondest memory of that.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think. Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky enough to have gone to a lot. Pebble Beach, LACC, um, Marion. What was the one on Washington? Washington D.C. Geez.
Oh,
Um,
Congressional?
Congressional. Thank you, Congressional. Um,
They're
what else
going
have
there,
I
I
been?
think, soon.
Yeah, yeah. Oakmont as well. Oakmont, both times it's been there. Um, yeah,
You've
I
seen
mean,
it.
I
Yeah, you've
guess
seen a lot.
I've seen a lot. There really isn't one distinct memory. Obviously, my golf memories are skewed because of like the Ryder Cup and the PGA things that we experienced together. I mean, Gary Woodland's win was definitely iconic, just given the
Yeah.
landscape and the backdrop. Dustin Johnson when he won at Oakmont was fun because I sat at the 18th hole the entire day, so getting to watch a great view of him sticking it to 2 feet to win the title was awesome. But yeah, nothing that really sticks out. Um,
We
yeah,
could
nothing that
probably
really.
do a whole episode on our 2021 Ryder Cup experience. And
Throw
just
in
lay it
the
all out there.
2019 PGA too. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that'd be
we could
fun.
just combine episode, maybe have some people
Special
on that were
guests.
there for
We
2019.
know,
We
we
won't say
know,
his
we
name.
know one person who would jump at the bid to come on and talk about 2019.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, 2019 was fun because we were in we're living in those dorms with the same people. I mean,
Yeah.
2021 was awfully fun. Some last round theatrics. Yeah, we could probably go on for 2 hours about it, and then maybe not
Uh-huh.
get, if we ever make it in this industry, that maybe not get like, I mean, it passed, but it was nothing that was that bad. But let's
hmm
get into predictions. I'll hand over to you. Do you want to start, or do you want me to kind of lead
I'll go with it.
predictions?
So for the U.S. Open, just kind of reiterating what you said about Pinehurst, it's going to be a difficult course. I mean, obviously, Martin Kemmer won in blowout fashion, shooting 9 under throughout the week with Ricky Fowler and, yeah, as you said, Eric Compton, named from the past, 8 shots behind him. Firm, fast. Gotta your putter's going to be your biggest weapon here with the Diamond Ross course. So going off of that, my 2024 prediction will be Ricky Fowler wins the U.S. Open at Pinehurst. I think he finally gets it done. That is also a little bit of a skewed pick. his course history is relevant here, especially when you're finishing tied second, and that was the Ricky Fowler that wasn't in this amazing major form of, I forget what the calendar year was where he finished in all top five in all four majors, but we're talking about a perennial guy who's one of the best putters on tour, who just absolutely just comeback player of the year last year. Obviously didn't win it, but um, just absolutely, got that first PJ Tour went out in Detroit. Yeah, just great driver of the golf ball, great iron player. The putter is where it really stands out. I mean, this guy can lag putt from wherever. Beautiful putting stroke. Watching him carry his water bottle is the best thing ever. So, yeah, I mean, outside of stats, it's just more putting based. I was between him and Spieth, which is tough because I think Spieth is, I don't want to say equal, but they both kind of have the same skill set of what I think you need to target here, where it's someone who can drive the golf ball straight. You don't need to worry about distance necessarily, and who can hit it to 30, 40 feet and lag it up there and get the par and go home.
Hmm.
We don't need, I don't think it's the best idea to target someone who, hits at 350 and sometimes can get it close to the green. It's just kind of go about your business, make your pars, and you'll find yourself in contention. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no secret I'm a Fowler fan. I mean, I think I hope last year at the U.S. Open. I mean, you were there, obviously, as I said, but I feel like he shot what, like a 7 under with standard, like a
Hmm.
62 or something, or maybe even
Yeah.
better, like a 9 under. Um, yeah, I think the experience helps. It's just like playing for. It's just so hard to win a major. Like if you actually
Hmm.
like really like, Fowler was the best player in that tournament for 3 rounds, and then you saw in like the first hole, he might parred maybe like the first hole that like you just can't par. It's like an easy like, birdie hole, and
Hmm.
you just tell like he couldn't have it. So I think this fits him. I think he's good. Like these tougher courses. Obviously, a major will be very tough.
Yeah.
I do like that pick. But I'll go into my pick. Um, I'll go with Collin Morikawa to win the 2024 U.S. Open. I think the stat nerd in me, if you actually look at his profile, like he should have at least won a tournament last year, then that just speaks to again how hard it is to win on tour. Um, I think this is a place where you don't have to bomb it, and I think if you just keep it straight, something that he can do and not that long. He's the second best approach player in the entire world behind Sky Scheffler. He ranks top 15 in all of, like the like approximate or like the yardage like buckets, from like 175 to 200, he's top 15. 200 to 225, he's top 15. So, if you put him in a fairway every time, he's one of the best players. So I think, especially here, where you don't need to be a great chipper or around the green, just because like there's not a lot of rough. There's a lot of like runoffs from what I've seen of the course, which I think gives Morikawa a skill set that he's not good at, that he can, I guess, mitigate that part of his game. Um, so obviously his putter isn't great. I don't know his stats on like Donald Ross greens, but I just think that if it's somewhere you don't have to bomb it and it's an irons paradise, I know, give me his odds. Like just give me him to win it. I also think I did debate myself between Colin and Max Homa. I think this is also a Homa course, keeping it straight, good iron player, good
Hmm.
short game. I know we talked about him last time with his odds being insane for like he's like plus 3,000, plus 4,000 for all of these like majors. I think he could be someone that's very sneaky. So Morikawa, Homa, and Fowler. I know you also mentioned Spieth. Like you don't have to kill it. So
Hmm.
I think if there's any tournament out of the four that we could see, like a Brian Harman type of, someone who's like 85 to 1 to win, I think it's here just because driving is not as big of an advantage as like
Hmm.
the Masters or the PGA.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a pretty solid outlook, and I don't know if there's any fun, interesting numbers down in the 85s. Tiger 100 to 1's a fun one. Um, I mean, Gary Woodland, if he was playing better, would stick out. You know, he can just hit stingers everywhere. It kind of feels like Pebble Beach all over again. But yeah, it's definitely a long shot. Could definitely win here. Sepp Straka at 130 to 1 is a really interesting number. Um, like an Adam Hadwin at 130. That'd be cool. But
Adam. He already
yeah,
had his he already had his moment last year getting tackled by that police officer.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I guess move on to the Open Championship if you want to give you a little preview.
Yeah, I mean we've heard this course I guess for a while. I feel like it's been kind of highlighted by some in the golf industry. So the Open is going to Royal Troon Golf Club, which famously known for the Henrik Stenson Phil Mickelson duel in 2016 with Stenson winning it all. We'll get into that, but the course is again, you don't really have to be long off the tee. Stenson, when he won, he's a guy that just, I think he hit like 3 wood on a lot of holes. Like he just hits it straight. And Iron Man, you know, hit, he's just he was a machine with his irons. So it's, we've seen like Brian Harmon, he won last year at the Open, now hitting it far. Cam Smith won at St. Andrews in 2022, who can't really drive it well or, very straight. So, it's very similar that all different skill sets can win. Um, is this the course with the postage stamp or the postage stamp?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
It is.
So that's that famous hole that drawing a blank on what number, but we'll get back to that. But I feel like this course, when I looked at the course history of this course, is just overshadowed by summarizing what happened in 2016 with Stenson and Phil.
Eighth
Um,
hole.
you know, uh, yeah, eighth hole. Phil the bomber, Stenson keeps it straight, hits his irons well. So really, anyone is probably in play for this. I remember I was on a team tour in Salt Lake City, getting up early to watch this before we had to travel around. So, it's probably one of the probably outside Tiger winning in 2019, it's not the best major we've had, in like probably in our, at least in my memory of being a golf fan. Like, Stenson was 20 under, Phil was 17 under, and JB Holmes was third at 6 under. So yeah, even though it was like a two-man race, it was, two guys that deserved to win. Phil maybe probably played the best golf to not win a major. Any thoughts on kind of your experience watching the 2016 Open with Phil and Stenson?
I remember watching the early part of that round four at I worked in a senior living center actually, and I remember watching some of that duel um, that morning. That's really my only memory of it, which is, that's unique somewhat. But yeah, I guess hopping into predictions. Links golf is always a tough one to predict. I mean, it's so weather dependent, and we're so far away to make this prediction even semi accurate.
Yeah.
So total shot in the dark here. But it's all dependent on weather splits and form and just so many factors that are impossible to predict now. But the official prediction for the 2024 Open Championship will be Tommy Fleetwood. Going again with this theme of players who have just been so close and can have the game to do it again. Tommy Fleetwood. Let's see. Let's read you some past. I mean, obviously, people out there know his past major performances. Let's give you the most accurate. Here we go. U.S. Open tied for fifth last year. Tied for fourth at the Open last summer. Tied for fifth PGA. Most famously, like, tied for second in the Open, and then tied for second in the U.S. Open 2018. So basically, every calendar year, he has a top five. It seems like, and then those are obviously followed up by top 25s, top 30s, give or take. But the guy has the complete game for links golf. Obviously, being from England, being from the UK, that's already an advantage right there. Can go out and shoot 10 under on a round or shoot even par if it's necessary. A good player to target in links golf when it could be a birdie fest or it could be just you just need to scramble and get your par. Driving distance isn't as paramount in links golf, because the ball will roll, so he drives it straight, doesn't drive it far. Uh, yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot to like about where he matches up against this course.
Yeah, I I mean I'll talk about his golf game and then my um theme about him, but yeah, I mean he's always in the links golf. I feel like he elevates his game. I think there is a thing that like you have to know how to play
Mm-hmm.
links golf, which is a little bit why I took this certain player for my prediction. But I feel like I don't know, I feel like he just turns it on, and his name is always in like the top 10 when we're looking
Mm-hmm.
at a round one or round two. I hope he learned from last year, kind of that it was kind of there for his taking, or at least to just compete with
Mm-hmm.
Harmon, and
Yeah.
he just couldn't make a putt. Like he was honestly like, he wasn't playing that bad. Like he just couldn't make a putt. I thought his putter is a little bit of a strong suit. Um, in this style of golf. He actually played in 2016 and he got cut, but he's a completely different player from that. So I like that's even out like the door. To even look at 2016. So I think he is someone that obviously I think will be very popular. Like I assume like what he's probably like mid 20s to win. Like I'd probably say 28 maybe.
Um,
She had to look.
25.
Yeah, that's about right.
It's a good
Like
price.
I can see him, I can see Terrell Hatton also being
Mm-hmm.
popular if you want to go with like the Englishmen
28.
and stuff. I think he played. So Hatton was T5 here in 2016, if that
Mm-hmm.
matters at all. But I think that'll be a pretty popular pick. And, we'll see how time tells to kind of adjust that pick. Obviously, it's in July, so we're months and months
Mm-hmm.
away. But my pick to win is someone who was T8 last year in the Open. He was second at St. Andrews in 2022, and this guy hasn't won on tour yet. He struggled a little bit last year. He actually just made a caddy change. He just split with his caddy, but I think Cam Young finally does it. I think he wins his first major of his career. As I said, has played well in link style golf. It's hard to kind of pick someone who hasn't won on tour yet. I know that, Fleetwood hasn't won on tour yet either, but um, he's won everywhere else. So I think that's an exception. I would, hopefully by hopefully by the middle of July, Cam Young has a win. I don't care where it is. It could be like the 3M Open or the Wells Fargo or Pebble Beach, which is now a signature event. So I would like that to happen before actually, placing a wager on him. But you know, at St. Andrews, like he almost won. I think he didn't he
Mm-hmm.
eagle the last hole to like be like solo second,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like Cam Smith kind of, he did his thing. So I'm just going off course history here. He is a bomber. He's probably one of the better drivers we have on tour. He was T8 last year and he lost 4 strokes putting at Royal Liverpool and a stroke around the green. So that's obviously something he has to improve on. And I think the more he's playing this style of golf, the better he will be. So give me Cam Young to win the Open Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Any final thoughts before we just do some bold predictions? Kind of a little fun. Give
I like it.
the
I don't
people
know.
what we want.
Nothing special there. I like it. I guess let's
Yeah,
just rock
I think
right
yeah.
into the
I
bold
don't think we
predictions.
really. The bold prediction is where we can get people
Creative.
can clip us and expose us. But I'll give you one bold prediction that I actually didn't put in the sheet which some people have been also been saying, but I'm gonna say that the European Rock Cup, they chose Luke Donald already to be their captain,
Hmm.
kind of, you know, putting, I guess, pressure on like the United States to make a captain. No one really cares, about like the Rock Cup right now, but I'm gonna say that Tiger is not the captain at Bethpage in 2025. I'm not sure if it's that bold. I just think he has too much going on in his personal life and his ventures. He's now on the players board. I don't know what the
Hmm.
official name is. So he's trying to figure out how to save the tour, get some money for the tour. I'm sure he can also invest his own money in the tour, which no one has really talked about. But I feel like, especially now with what happened in Italy, it's at Bethpage, New York. It's going to be a lot of hype around it, I think. I think like a Freddie Couples gets the captaincy, which I I think they kind of have to move past the task force that they had of like Stricker and
Yeah.
Furyk and Love. I think they got to move past it, but I just don't see them doing it this time around.
Hmm.
I think Couples gets it. Um, the hype will be around Tiger. Who knows if he's like a vice captain or something, but the fans want it. We all want it to happen. But I just don't see him committing to it and pulling like all of his chips into this. So I think if I had to say, I think maybe like a Freddie Couples or like a Hunter like Mahan or someone like that. I think he's spoken out about like the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
So um, that is my first bold prediction.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I mean, I do agree with you. I don't think Tiger gets the captaincy either. And I'm assuming it'll be announced in the first half of 2024, especially with, they do like their year out celebration in September of 24, and then you obviously have the President's Cup this year. Um, but yeah, no, I do agree. I don't have a name necessarily, but I don't think the Tiger does it. But going into my
Yeah.
first bold prediction, the return of my favorite golfer of all time, Daniel Berger, will win a PGA Tour event this year. Bookmark it, it's happening. The swing already looks wonderful. I don't know if you've seen any clips online, but the guy's been in hiatus. I didn't even know if he was alive or dead. Favorite golfer of all time, been a fan of his ever since about 2014. So 9 years of fandom of Daniel Berger. He will win a PGA Tour event in 2024. I don't know what kind of status he still has. He definitely got a medical exemption, so that could be skewed, but I think he wins no matter how many starts he has.
So yeah, I mean honestly, there's a story about me and Daniel Berger too
Yeah.
that will be saved for the Ryder Cup episode when
Hmm.
we run out of content for the year, which hopefully we don't with all the uncertainty we have. But what sparked this Daniel Berger interest? I kind of forget.
It's so the truth to it is, back in high school, I think it was, I don't want to go on the record. Uh, Fantasy golf. So it was his rookie and his second year on tour. He would alternate miscut top 20, miscut top 20, miscut top 20 every single week during the summer for like 2 straight years. So when you're looking at fantasy golf and you're looking at someone who was priced like him down in this, 6,000 or 7,000 range, you just pick him after a missed cut and he'd go out there and give you a top 20. It was like the craziest thing ever. I kid you not, if you look up the stats, I don't know what year it was specifically that I started following him and all of that, but it was so consistent for like 8, 10, 12 tournaments in a row. That was the form. It was just like a cheat code. So that's where it all started, and just been fandom ever since.
Yeah, I mean we can still make that trade if you want, but I'm sure
No,
you
I'm
probably
okay.
won't
I'm okay.
want to do that.
Hmm.
If you
No.
know, you know. Um, I'll give my next bold prediction. It's also not on the sheet. This kind of sparked. I saw like a PJ Tour TikTok, maybe not TikTok, but a reel of the PJ Tour making predictions on the President's Cup roster for both teams. I think if they allow the LIV players to play, this will be a lot closer than we think, which I do think that they will for some reason. Trevor Immelman. Well, I guess when we went back to Ernie Els, I forget what the name. It's not the task force. We're the task force, but I forget the name that Ernie Els made. But basically,
Mhm.
buying into this new international culture. I mean, we've dominated them in this tournament. But I was looking at the rosters, which it didn't include the live players, but if you had Cam Smith, Joaquin Neiman, and Mito, to like the Tom Kims, the Sung Jaes, the Amimli Lee, it's in Canada, so they'll probably have a Canadian or two. But I think this might be the year that the international team beats Team USA, and I
The
just think
President's Cup is
that
in Canada this year. It is in Canada. My
yeah,
gosh, you're not kidding.
yeah.
Interesting. Sorry, I
So
swore it was in Asia. Okay, never
no,
mind.
it was 2 years ago. It was in Korea, I believe.
Yeah, that's okay. That was yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No, yeah, but I just think that I just, we almost lost last year. Like it was close to however you want to say close in these type of match play tournaments, and I think that I don't know. I just have a gut feeling that they are going to lose. I don't trust like Jim Furyk with anything after the Ryder Cup when he took the worst play. He took, Bubba and Phil and Bryson who didn't even fit that course. So I think that they are going to lose the President's Cup. I can hope,
Interesting.
that's my take. I've heard other takes from other podcasts, but I didn't really believe it. And then I saw the actual international team, and like if they add Cam Smith, Joaquin Neiman, and Mito Pereira to this, along with Jason Day and Scott will probably play one last time. Tom Kim, Siwoo, Sung Jae, Mimu Lee, Orion Fox. Like it's probably one of the better teams they've had ever. To
Yeah.
my knowledge, I think they have a better culture, better captaincy. Um, it who's the who's the Canadian, the lefty that won the
Mike
Masters?
Mike Weir.
Yeah, he's the captain. The
Okay.
Canadians, I feel like the Canadians, they will get rowdy. They will,
Hmm.
they will, they will let Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay hear it. They'll let Cantlay
Yeah.
hear that he doesn't have his hat on. So, I'm gonna go with international team takes down Team USA. Team USA is in shreds going into the 2025 Ryder Cup at Bethpage. And yeah, that's my second bold prediction.
So with it now coming to my attention that it's in Montreal more specifically, are we potentially looking at a road trip? Only 7 hour drive away to Montreal.
Do we know any Canadians?
No.
Joey Coldcuts. Joey
Oh my
Coldcuts is from
gosh. But
is from
hey, I
Canada.
mean, that would be kind of cool. I could be definitely easily convinced about that. That would be fun. Like that's a unique thing. Keep it in the back.
Yeah.
Keep it in the back burner. A
We'll
little road trip up to Montreal in the summer too.
we'll talk in our Snap group with
Oh
Nick
gosh.
about that one.
Okay. So maybe we'll get a chartered private flight going up to Montreal then. That'd work well. Yeah. But going into my second bold prediction. Now I know we're doing three. These next two are a little bit weird. I'll start with this one first.
Love it.
Uh, a live golf player will not win a major in 2024. So don't know if that's necessarily bold in a sense, but you definitely could look at it as a bold prediction given Rom, Kepka, perennial Cam Smith, DJ, all of them up there, but Bryson as well. So I do not think a live golfer wins a major in 2024. And that you could probably
Yeah,
bet
that's
somewhere. That's also why I did it, because you could probably bet on it somewhere, and I cannot find any odds anywhere. But some sportsbook offers that somewhere, and that would be a very good bet in my eyes.
yeah, that's yeah, I mean it's not a bold prediction, but I guess Rom kind of makes that even bolder, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, give me your third since you're going on this train of a weird bet or a weird bold prediction, which I like.
Okay. This one is it's a little bit of a caveat because I don't understand. I don't know what's the best way to say it. So you look at you have your top 30 guys from the Corn Ferry Tour that obviously get promoted to the PGA Tour. And some of these guys have already been on the PGA Tour. So I don't know what the differentiation when you say PGA Tour Rookie of the Year is. So I'll just preface with this. Out of the top 30 primo tees, or however you want to call it, from the Corn Ferry Tour to the PGA
Hmm.
Tour, the best player of that bunch will be age 30 or over. So the best player that will be promoted to the PGA Tour will be of the age 30 or over. I do not think that the young guns that were promoted are that good in this class, and there is a lot of old people in this class. I mean, you have, just looking at the list right now, a bunch of people in their early 40s. You have Scott Gutschewski, who's 47 years old. You have Roger Sloan, Ben Silverman, Rafael Campos. You have all these people who are upper 30s, lower 40s. One of them has to turn out, like a very solid year. So I don't know if that's necessarily a bold prediction. It's a fun one because it's just unique. But the outside of like Norman Young or Chris Gotterup or Parker
Oh my
Cody,
God, Chris
that,
Goddard up, dude. Oh my God. If you're on golf Twitter with Daily Fantasy or anything, I swear I see that name, Chris Goddard, and people are like, dude, like this is it, like he hits it far. And it's like I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna bet like top 40 at like plus 250 for this guy. Like I don't even know this guy. That you could tell me he won like a major championship, and I would be like, yeah, like that's probably right. Am I not wrong? I mean, that's why like you're laughing so much.
no,
Is
you're
like
right. That I didn't know you had like a personal vendetta against Chris Gotterup.
it's like he's on my feed, and I'm like, how about you like? I mean, it's something against Chris Goddard. I think it's just like I like to fade the golf community sometimes, and so I'm like, Chris Goddard,
Oh man.
that guy should be on
So
tour.
that
Like, good for him.
he's on tour.
Yeah, yeah,
He
good for
uh
him.
he ranks second on the Corn Ferry Tour in driving distance and ninth in ball striking ability. Well, ball striking ability. Ninth in greens and regulations. Ball striking ability is not a stat. But he was the 2022 Haskins and Nicholas Awards winner. Uh, he missed three cuts. Yeah, went to Oklahoma. That's about it. That's about it
OG.
about Chris Goddard. But yeah, that's I don't know if you have any weird thoughts on it. It's a little bit of a weird
I
prediction,
gave
but
my
it's
weird thoughts
just
on it. I just don't. I don't get it. I mean, he's like who's the? There's another guy that nothing personally against him. It's just that the golf community just everyone's on him every week, and it's like a win for the golf community. And I'm like, guys, like let's settle down here.
I'm trying to think because there's a
Taylor
well obviously
Montgomery. You know
no
who that is?
he's not in this. Grayson Murray's
But
in
like
this group. My
but
gosh,
who?
Grayson Murray got his tour card back.
He sounds like a football player.
Jeez. Well, but before you go into your thought, I mean, obviously, for speaking of the golf community, everyone out there wants Rafael Campos to do well. I mean, this guy has been a grinder. I don't know if you remember, you know who that is, Puerto Rican. Guy's been a grinder all his career. So
Oh yeah.
that's
Who's
probably
the guy that on the Corn Ferry tour that like did he like cheat or something or like got
yes,
suspended
yes,
for
yes,
like
yes.
being like a head case in like the locker room or something? It was
No, no, no. There's a really funny one. Let me find the
or like
name because it's
was it sports betting or something? I forget what it was. It was funny.
no, that's not who
Mm.
I'm talking about though. But let me. Where's the name? Um. Sorry. I don't know where it went. I got a Command F. Shut up. Wilson Furr. Do you know about Wilson Furr's story at all? No.
No.
So this guy Wilson Furr missed the cut at the Lecom Suncoast Classic. No idea when that was, where that is being played, but he missed the cut after he was assessed a two-shot penalty for taking an unauthorized shuttle ride between the 18th and first hole. It's the dumbest thing. And
No, normal sport right there. Normal sport. But
I just
it's
love
just
like they give them little bios, like 2, 3 sentence bios, and it's just like got back inside the bubble, where after he finished tied sixth in the Corn Ferry Championship after making par from the adjacent fairway on his final hole. Like what? But yeah, he got a two-shot penalty for an unauthorized shuttle ride. So there you go, Wilson Furr. bookmark it.
Only in golf you can get penalized for jumping in the wrong car, but um,
Only in golf can a 34-year-old Tom Whitney, his buzz or his little bio is a nuclear missile operator during his 4-year career at Air Force. This class just impresses me more and more.
yeah, I'll give my
Wow.
well, I already gave this bold prediction, but I'll just say it quickly for time reasons. But I think Bryson, um, I think he finishes top three, top five at the PGA. I think he competes at the U.S. Open too. So I guess this maybe goes a little against your other bold prediction, but I just think he is playing really well. I think he'll take over the Live Golf. I think he'll have like the best year. He'll be like the best player, MVP, whatever they call it on that tour. So I think I
Player
already
of the
went
year.
kind of in it before. Yeah, I kind of already went into it. One more thing on not on the sheet. Give me like a breakout player. And don't say like Chris Gotterup, but who's like who's like your breakout
Fine.
player this year? It can be like a big name. I have my name on the sheet that you can
You go
see, but
first, because
who's like
I have no idea. You go
um
first.
so we've seen, I guess, from my memory since 2015. You had Spieth in 2015, 2016 was JT, DJ and Koepka, always had their like years. We've seen, Scheffler and Cam Smith was back in 2022, and Rahm. So all these guys have their 1 to 2 year, where they kind of win a lot of tournaments. So I think my breakout player, I've already said his name. I think this is the year of Collin Morikawa. I think he wins 3 times. I think he wins at least a major. I just think if you look at his profile, he should win a lot more than he has. And I think this is the year that he kind of has a similar year. And I think he wins a couple times. He already won a Zozo last year, or I guess this year, but I'm not sure how like the golf calendar works with that. If that's considered last year or this year, but it doesn't matter. I think if I had to do like that like dumb bet that we talked about last episode about like DraftKings like groups every player's odds to win like a major.
Hmm.
I think Collin Morikawa, he wins a major and 2 other times in other places. So I think this is the year of Collin Morikawa of 2024. So that's my breakout player.
DraftKings does not offer Collin Morikawa to win a major. Yes, they do. Plus 650 for him. That's
I
so
mean, not gonna take that obviously. We went through our kind of betting vendettas or a little blueprint, but I think that's my
bad. Yeah.
breakout player of the year. So
Yeah.
do you have a name
Mine,
in mind?
I do. I do have a name in mind, and it is going to be Chef Min Woo Lee. Will be the breakout player of 2024. I think that's a great pick because I don't
Yep.
really think it matters how he plays on the course. It's just purely his social media content will trump however he plays, and he will just be talked about continuously. Might make it on the PIP rankings next year, honestly. But after committing to the PGA Tour, getting amid the live rumors, going down to Australia in the past couple of weeks, and just absolutely electrifying the crowd. Dare I say, Chef will be cooking in 2024.
Yeah. I think he'll be a popular. I feel like he'll be a popular name to win like a major at like 60 to 1 or something.
Yeah.
Last thing, let's do sleepers. My sleeper will be Chris Gotterup to win a major. Okay. No.
Go away. Oh, that was.
No. I don't got any sleepers, but I wanted just to see your reaction. Oh yeah, Chris Gotterup.
Well, we're gonna have Chris Gatto from this podcast at one point, just so you can meet this man and talk out your differences.
Again, Chris, it's nothing personal. It's just I think the golf community. Um, I'm pretty sure people on Twitter. I think it. I may be completely wrong. I think Lurch from Barstool like knows him personally because I think he like someone in the foreplay group. I think it's Lurch that like personally knows him. But
Yeah.
yeah. He's my sleeper. So he can come on, but I can be like you're my sleeper to maybe win like Mexico Open or something like that. But that's all. I think that's all we got to wrap up 2023, looking
Yeah,
into 2024. Um, we gotta. I gotta get those stickers from you at some point.
yeah, I can give you those. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. We'll talk after this, but want to wrap it up.
Century Tournament next week. Good stuff. So running right
Oh yeah.
into that's a cool trophy, by the way. It's a really cool trophy. That like
They have to. Did
whale.
they change the name yet?
No, still Century. Century
No.
Tournament of
Well, it's
Champions.
yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I mean, you have our boy or my boy's playing in it.
Nick Hardy.
Yeah, because he won the Zurich with
That
Davis Ridley.
qualifies you as is winning the Zurich qualifies both
Dude, he
players.
got his tour card. Like you get like a
Well,
tour
yeah,
card. Yeah.
obviously. Well, yeah, but I didn't know it would qualify you for the Century for winning a group of,
He's a
or
champion. He's a champion. Like, what do you mean?
Sorry, excuse me.
I actually, we'll talk about him after this, but, um, yeah. But like, yeah, like,
Okay.
Siwoo Kim's playing. Matt Wallace, he,
What
he
did
might
he
win like the
win?
Puerto Rico Open. Maybe the Puerto Rico Open. Akshay's playing because he won the Barracuda.
He's also
Um,
engaged now.
who? Oh, Akshay, yeah.
Akshay.
He is
Yeah.
getting into like the whole YouTube golf scene
Mm-hmm.
now.
Yep.
I think he's playing with like Grant Horvat at some point. Um, no, wait, there's a lot. Like, yeah, no, yeah, there aren't a lot of champions on this list. Eric
Mm-hmm.
Cole's on this list. Oh, so it's top 50 in like the FedEx Cup automatically qualify.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say there's no way if you win the Zurich you get into this. No. Mm-mm. No.
But Patrick Rogers, Ken Davis. Okay, let's wrap this up. But
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up there. And looking forward to Century next week. So look out for some content from that. And 2024 will be the year of Chris Goddard. Yes,
and the Bunker to Bunker podcast. Subscribe.
that too. You got it.
Smash it.